Hey everybody, I'm Mike Reno from Loverboy.
Hi, this is Joe Satriani.
Hey, I am Brandy Rhodes.
Hey, I'm UFC fighter CB Dollaway. Clay Milliken, driver of the Parts Plus, Great Clips, Top Fuel Dragster.
What's up, world? This is your favorite comic, Tony Rock.
Hey guys, this is Kendra Sunderland, Vixen Angel of the Year.
Hey, this is Jimmy Chamberlain.
Hey, it's your boy J-Rock from Sunnyvale Trailer Park. You know, I'm Sierra Era Egg, and you listen to my boy T-Biscuit on the Toddcast podcast. I'm out like I sold something.
As a longtime Vancouver Canucks fan, it has been a grind. If you follow them at all, you know that we've been close a few times, right to the Stanley Cup Finals, but we haven't been able to get her done yet. There's been times where I was a bigger supporter than other years, but generally I've been a fan year in, year out for my entire life. So when I was offered the chance to talk to retired NHL defenseman Brent Sopel, I jumped all over it. The Canucks selected Sopel in '95 in the entry draft. He had a big role on the team for years to come. Great to talk with Soaps, super nice guy. He is a guest this week. Joining Brent Sopel, you'll hear from Vancouver author and blogger Abby Simpson. Like us, she's also part of the Dean Blundell Network out of Toronto. You'll hear this week's musical guest in just a couple of minutes. Excited as of next week, Pineapple Sound Recording Studio out in Langley is jumping on as the musical guest sponsor. Coming up in just a few minutes, in Listen to This, Glory kickboxing fighter Trevor Rajan shares his thoughts on when parents should enroll their kids into martial arts. It's a polarizing question, to say the least. That is powered by Tedco RV Supplies in Langley. Good buddies. RV service, repair, ICBC accredited. Find them online. Say that 5 times fast. Find them online at TedcoRVSuppliesInc.com. First, let's do this. Our first guest of 3, this week's musical guest. I don't know how, but they found me. Singer Dallon Weeks. Okay, I Don't Know How is a duo from Salt Lake City, Utah. They got their start in 2016. It's Dallon and his longtime drummer buddy, Ryan Seaman. You'll know Dallon from his time with Panic at the Disco. You'll know Ryan from his time in Falling in Reverse. Pretty cool that a couple longtime buddies just carving out another project together, another band, after being in successful projects prior to forming I Don't Know How, but they found me. They had a big tour with Silver Sun Pickups. Remember that? When bands could actually play live? In 2019, they had a big tour with those guys. We talked to them about COVID and how they move on with the band in this pandemic world. Hear that in the full conversation. Search it out through Toddcast Podcast. Again, on iTunes, Spotify, SoundCloud. In the meantime, here's 10 minutes with I Don't Know How, but they found me, singer Dallon Weeks.
The Toddcast Podcast.
In the Weeks house, what are your parents playing as you're a kid growing up? Like, what are you being exposed to?
Oh, man. When we would clean the house on Saturday, it seemed that my parents would always put on either the oldie station or just basic middle-of-the-road top 40 stuff.
Yeah.
I grew up with that sort of, stuff floating in the ether around me. I didn't really pay attention to it, but I was like semi-aware of a lot of older rock stuff that my dad listened to, and then, the Sheena Easton, Gloria Estefan stuff that my mom was listening to. So okay. I have an appreciation for that stuff, even though it is like cheeseball 80s, like
same
a certain charm.
Like put on a Laura Branigan song, Gloria, and I'm
Gloria, love Gloria.
Turning that up.
every single talent show that you went to had a teenage girl that was dancing to Gloria.
Right. Kind of like almost like a radio feel at your house then, if it's all over the map like that.
Well, yeah, but it was all very casual. I mean, my parents weren't really big on music. It was just sort of a very casual pastime. Put the radio on and it's background noise for Saturday when you're cleaning the house. But
right.
It's not an interest that I was really encouraged to pursue as a kid, because I wanted to play the guitar from the time I was 3, but never really did until I was 15 and I bought my own guitar, and my parents were really disappointed that I wasted my money on this thing that was going to take me nowhere and turn me into a degenerate lowlife.
They probably have a differing opinion than that present day.
Well, yeah, I think it's because, when I was a kid and talking about wanting to, play rock and roll and have that be a job, like their heads go to the Motley Crues of the time and, these hair metal bands.
Snorting lines of ants and yeah.
But when I was a teenager, it was bands like Nirvana and Pearl Jam, and despite whatever personal issues they may have had, they did have a set of ethics when it came to rock and roll, and that's what I grew up admiring. And so I learned that rock and roll as a job can be whatever you make it. If you want it to be a 24-hour party, you certainly could do that.
Right.
I don't think you're going to last very long if you do, unless you're exceptionally lucky.
Right.
But,
Keith Richards comes to mind.
Yeah. But I always just wanted to treat it like a job and like a career, and have it be something that I could use to take care of my family.
Right. Great, man. That's great. What was your first concert that you went to?
I think it was Counting Crows in 1994.
So that would have been right at the heart of Round Here and Mr. Jones. And
I think it was before Round Here. But I think the single at the time was Long December, like that era. I'm not sure what record that was.
I think that might be the same one, isn't it? August and Everything After?
It could be. I've sort of fallen off the wagon. I still love Counting Crows, and I love all that old stuff.
Great band. I mean, arguably one of the, I put those guys in the same category as like a Hootie and the Blowfish, that were absolutely freaking massive, but have kind of fallen off the wayside.
Yeah, I'm sure that they're all, doing their own thing and are happy to be, have had the career that they've had. I certainly would be if I were them.
Oh, totally. Absolutely. I mean, they could probably fire it up again and play 1,000-seaters in a pre-COVID world, no problem.
They did that live double album in the 90s that was really, really great too. I still spin that song, Chelsea. I'm not sure if you're familiar with that one.
Yes. Yeah, they have a lot of really good songs. I'm curious about the Desert Island question, because this kind of peels into who Dallon Weeks is. You have 3 records you're allowed to bring. You're on a deserted island. What are they?
This Year's Model by Elvis Costello and the Attractions.
I've been trying to get Elvis Costello as a guest of this podcast forever, and I know his booking agent, and I can't get him.
Oh, wow. I played a show with him, a couple shows, but once with Panic years ago. Our dressing room was directly next door to his. I'm such a huge fan.
Cool.
And I kept, throughout the day, I kept walking by his dressing room going, trying to sneak peeks.
Sneak a peek.
Yeah, but yeah, that record for sure. It's been one of my favorites for the longest.
Yeah, great choice.
Number 2 would probably be Weezer's Pinkerton.
Okay.
Came out when I was like 14 or 15, and I fell in love with it immediately. It was one of those records that all of my friends kind of disparaged and didn't like because it wasn't like the Blue Album, and it was a little too weird. And
right.
I loved it. I think it took people about 10 years to come around and go, oh, this is a really good record. But to me, that one's always been really special.
Yeah.
And then number 3 would probably be either Kimono My House by Sparks.
Oh, I'm not even sure if I know that band.
Sparks has been around since like the early 70s, and they pretty much invented Queen and any number of bands who took a giant page out of their playbook.
Okay.
They still make music to this day. They've been making music as Sparks for 40-something years.
Wow.
Legendary band. And if you go back and listen to their catalog, you'll plainly be able to see that, oh, this band was born from this Sparks record, and this band was born from this Sparks record. So it's really cool. It's one of those bands that, for some inexplicable reason, have flown under the radar of
totally
public consciousness, but they deserve to be like one of the most legendary bands out there.
It sounds like I have some homework to do after this interview.
Yeah, definitely dig into it. Start with a song called Something for the Girl with Everything. Or, no. This Town Ain't Big Enough for the Both of Us.
Okay.
That song is off Kimono My House. Really, really great.
We have homework. I have limited time with you, so I want to rip through a few lifestyle questions. I want to get to know you more than kind of, what you're known for, music and stuff. What are you binging on right now? What are you binge watching?
I haven't been watching a lot of TV, but when I do put something on, it seems to be The Office usually. And that's always the go-to. But
which do you like better, the original English version or the American?
Well, I love both. It's been a minute since I've watched the British version, but I just started it up again maybe like 2 nights ago because my wife hasn't seen the British version.
Oh, okay. So
I'm trying to get her into it. But
Ricky Gervais is just a jewel in the entertainment world.
Absolutely. You know who else is great? There's another show I have been binge watching that you reminded me of. You know who Matt Berry is? He's another British comedian.
Not sure. Maybe to see him.
He seems to have another show every few years on the BBC or something, and it's always comedy and it's always really brilliant. But this particular show is called Toast of London.
Okay.
So funny. So that's another one that I've been binge watching. But he's right up there on Ricky Gervais's level as far as like comedy chops and just.
Oh, that's rad. With Chad Boswick, Black Panther actor, passing, are you a fan of all of that, or what Marvel and DC are pushing out? Are you a big superhero guy?
Yeah, I've been into comics since I was a teenager. You know, I was big on X-Men and Spider-Man. And,
yeah, same.
You know, I loved Black Panther, and Chadwick's contributions to the MCU I think were great. But I think learning about him as a person has really, really impressed me. You know, unfortunately, you know, learning about how, you know, altruistic he really was came after
post-mortem. Yeah, I mean, and like that shows the character of this guy, to not be like, oh, look at me, look at all my endeavors I'm doing on the side. And that's
really admirable quality to have.
Totally. Wasn't that something like was it George Michael had done that as well? Like he was giving philanthropic donations, like millions of dollars to charities around the world, and he never mentioned a thing.
Well, that's the way to do it, man. That's just classy.
Yeah, 100%. If you could have a superpower, which power would you want to have?
You know what? Sign me up for whatever Superman's got. You know,
yeah.
Those Kryptonians have a
little bit of everything.
Won the lottery when it comes to superpowers. So,
What is your favorite superhero movie?
Oh man, probably.
That's a tough call, right?
Yeah, that is pretty tough. I really liked Iron Man. The first Iron Man was really great.
That's the one.
Yeah.
Like, dude, that's the one. Jon Favreau set that bar. Like, dude, if you're going to make a movie about Superman or Batman or X-Men or Peter Parker, like, here's where you need to get to.
Yeah, I think he's the first real director to make a superhero movie that had a real grasp on how to do a comic book movie based in like a real world scenario, and also stayed super true to the source material as well.
Yeah, I totally agree, man. Iron Man set the bar, dude, right out of the gate. And then, of course, everything just, now it's, I mean, Endgame was like,
yeah, that was really great.
Brains exploding.
I love watching the studio audience reactions to the Endgame.
Yeah.
Those are always really fun.
Yeah. Can you nail it down to one career highlight thus far, or is that just way too hard to pick?
No, not at all. Being able to do this band has been the highlight. It's everything that I ever wanted. It's just being able to create music and have nothing standing in between the initial idea and the finished product. You know, there's no filters, there's no suits coming in and changing stuff. And
dude, imagine that. Imagine being micromanaged to the point you're like, really? This is not what I want.
Yeah, exactly. It's something I have a little bit of experience with, but to be able to be in a situation where there is no more of that, there's just total creative freedom, and the fact that there are people out there who respond to it and connect to it is, I really do feel like the guy that won the lottery twice.
Subscribe on iTunes at Toddcast Podcast.
Everywhere I go, I'm fucking losing it. All these stupid people always talking shit. Count me in, you know I always throw it down. Turn it up, I always wanna hear it loud. I'm always stressing out. Give me another round. I gotta take some time to figure out what's going down. I wanna try all the time to lose this bad state of mind. I wanna feel something right. I wanna feel alive. Now I'm sitting strung out in the basement, so sick and tired of being wasted. Get me something strong, I wanna feel it burn. Don't know right from wrong, not sure I'll ever learn. I'm always stressing out. Get me another round. I gotta have a drink and figure out what's going down. I wanna try all the time to lose this bad state of mind. I wanna feel something right. I wanna feel alive. I wanna try
And now, listen to this on the Toddcast podcast.
Trevor Rajan fights out of Glory Kickboxing. Watch his fights, and you'll see that he has massive potential to be one of the greats. We'll definitely be checking into his camp over the next few years to watch his star rise. And when Trevor was a guest, we talked about the Black Panther movie, skateboarding as a kid, watching UFC fights. We talked about legalized marijuana, aliens, and have they visited Earth. We talked about his first pro fight and watching tape of the opponents that he's about to fight. He shared a near-death experience story about driving in his car. And Trevor talked about when he thought that parents should enroll their kids into martial arts. Always a polarizing topic. Listen to this.
Early. I mean, I think a lot of people can relate to me in this. I wish I started a lot earlier.
Right.
I think every fighter I have a conversation with says they wish they started earlier or sooner.
Listen to this on the Toddcast podcast is brought to you by Tedco RV Supplies in Langley, an ICBC approved repair shop. Find them online at tedcorvsuppliesinc.com.
How are Canadian radio stations across the country not all over Johnny Rath? Their new song is called Bright Day. They released a live version of that song on an EP, I think it was earlier this year, maybe towards the tail end of 2019. If you're going like, why do I recognize that? That's the studio version. You can find that on an EP they just released a couple of weeks back now. Awesome Vancouver band, simple, straight ahead rock, and they are great live. Played you a band called The Followays, and their song was called Alive. And I think it was a management deal they recently signed, or maybe it was a label deal, or both. Regardless, killer band, great guys, great players. I think they've done a couple, 2-3 shows for the podcast now. And do you remember when they were doing these house parties prior to COVID shutting the world down? Another great idea. Gather, group of your friends and rock the hell out. Few of your buddies' bands as well, maybe a keg or two, try not to smash through any walls, pretty standard stuff. Okay, Todd's Trolls is coming up in just a bit. The stupid, mean, hurtful, but truly the funny things that people say to what you post, what you see online. This week, Goo Goo Dolls the new animated movie Connected, and Rugby League's NRL Grand Final all have targets on their backs. Powered by The Garage, games and geekery in Maple Ridge, your place to play Warhammer, D&D, slay trolls, and lots more. Find them online at garagegames.ca. First, let's get to the second of 3 Toddcast guests this week. Our sporting guest, retired NHL defenseman Brent Sopel. If you're a Vancouver Canucks fan, you will know him from getting drafted to the team as mentioned in 1995. With the team through the mid-2000s, traded to the New York Islanders in 2005, then traded back to the team, to the Canucks in 2006 for the season. Then it was off to the Blackhawks, where he won the Stanley Cup in 2010, played for the Kings, played for the Thrashers, the Canadiens. Beyond the NHL, Sopel also played in the Continental Hockey League, which is a Russian super hockey, essentially. He also briefly played with the Chicago Wolves in the AHL before retiring from hockey in 2015. Since retiring, he's created the Brent Sopel Foundation, aimed at helping promote and raise money for youth with dyslexia. We talk in depth with him about that in the full conversation. Any hockey fan should definitely check out the full conversation. Search it out again through Toddcast Podcast, iTunes, Spotify, and SoundCloud. Till you hear that, here's 10 minutes with retired Stanley Cup winning NHL defenseman Brent Sopel.
The Toddcast Podcast.
What is your first hockey memory?
My first hockey memory? Oh, being on the outdoor rink.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's growing up in Saskatchewan. There's an outdoor rink just about at every school. So you could find an outdoor rink somewhere at all times. And that's where I spent my life.
And how old were you when you first laced them up?
2.
You're 2?
Yep.
Just a little guy, yeah. And when did you realize that, like, I'm good enough to do this?
I don't know if I, ever did. I was always a guy that's, a slower skater, and I always had to prove people wrong. So I don't know if there's ever a time where I said, I can do this. It was, major AAA and going up to WHL and getting drafted. It was just, I always had to earn that spot and had to prove a lot of people wrong to earn that spot. So, it probably never did, and I was always looking over my shoulder for the next guy coming, that's
right.
Just the business.
Yeah. And of course, never did win a cup with the Vancouver Canucks, but you hoisted it with the Chicago Blackhawks. Talk about hoisting the Stanley Cup, dude.
Well, obviously, one in a million times on the outdoor rink, and it's a dream come true. So to be able to know that my name's on there and part of a special group when there's so many amazing players that played this game in the NHL that never got an opportunity to win.
Talk about some of the players that you played with in Vancouver that you were like, man, they're just big players, man. Well,
when that's part of the game. It's Vancouver, we had some amazing players. That's Bertuzzi, Naslund, Morrison line was just,
the train, man. Look out.
The train, nothing but spectacular to be able to be a part of and watch. And, we had some special teams there, just, came up short a couple times. And, I thought we had definitely an opportunity to do some damage. But there's a reason why it's the hardest trophy in all 4 major sports to win.
I was just going to say that. They say that it's the hardest, and clearly it is.
Well, yeah, when you got to win 16 games, you've got, obviously NFL with 3 playoff games in there, then, so
yeah,
it's a grind. Your body takes a beating after 82 games. So, but like I said, to be able to win it and hoist it, knowing my name's on there is pretty special.
Hell yeah. And before COVID shut the world down, which teams were now? Obviously, they're gonna. And what do you think about the abbreviated playoffs?
I think it's stupid.
Yeah, I'm not a fan either.
It's I understand why it's all about. That's a business side of that the fans don't understand. That's all about the money and the marketing dollars and stuff that Gary doesn't want to give back and make himself look bad. So right. Gary's always got to make himself look good. And you're ruining 2 seasons just for one. COVID-19 was pandemic through the whole world, not just in North America and China and Russia. It was everywhere. Every single country was so affected. So if there's a blank on the Stanley Cup, yeah, that's fine. Nobody ever anticipated, saw any of this. It was what are you supposed to do? It is what it is. Nobody wanted to see all these people die. You'd rather be playing the game, playing Major League Baseball, playing Stanley Cup playoffs right now than, watching all the doctors on the front line doing what they're doing.
And regardless, you say, well, it's going to be either it's a blank or it gets those little asterisks. And as a Canuck fan, I know that we're going to fucking win this year. And it's going to be that, like, the asterisk year of the COVID, Like,
and that's what everybody's going to say. Did you really win? It'll never, you won, but you'll never really think you won. You didn't go through the whole grind of, mid-April to mid-June. You went through the COVID grind.
Right. Still a grind, but it's not the full grind. That's why the asterisks, right? I don't want the asterisks. I want the win, man.
Yeah.
All right, Brent, talk to us about your foundation, BrentSopelFoundation.org.
Yeah, I started my foundation a couple of years ago. I found out 10 years ago that I'm dyslexic. And, through that, through my struggles, I decided to, start my own foundation. And a lot of it's for advocating and, helping get teachers trained in Wilson reading and Gordon Gillingham. But I always say I got to change the world. But before I can do that, I got to educate the world. I only think about 20% of the population actually know what dyslexia is.
And what's the percentage, do you know offhand, of the people that actually are dyslexic? My older brother is for sure.
Yeah, it's 1 in 5. So 20%.
20% of the people.
And it's hereditary. So autism is 1 in 65 and not hereditary. So you just keep passing it on, it keeps going and going and going. So it's not going anywhere. It's something that you're born with. You can't take a shot or a pill or anything. It is what it is.
So are you raising money? Is there a way for that to be fought? Like, how do they fight this?
Well, yeah, I'm obviously raising money so that I can advocate for these kids. And, when you're talking about 20% of the population, it doesn't matter where you're from. It doesn't race, gender, sex. It doesn't matter if you're Russian or Chinese or Japanese or Canadian. It affects everybody. So, raise the money so I'm able to go to schools and able to advocate for these kids and get them to understand what their goals are and what their strengths and weaknesses are. And I've been up the White House speaking, a couple times, and going to go back up there whenever I can get back up there with everything going on.
How are you with the public speaking? Is that because a lot of people are like, man, I'd rather just take a bullet.
No, that's part of my dyslexia. I could, stand in crowds of, 2 to, thousands. It doesn't bother me. So
nice.
God gave me a gift to be able to do that.
Yeah. Nice. Okay, Brent, I'd like to get outside of hockey and, of course, what you're known for. Everybody knows you for hockey, but let's get into who Brent Sopel is. What was the music in the Sopel house like as a kid growing up? Like, what are the bands that your parents are playing?
Oh, I got to go back to the. Geez. You got to go way back. Then that's really dated me.
Digging into the cobwebs here.
Got to get the vinyls out.
Totally.
My parents weren't big music people.
They weren't big.
No, they didn't have in the vehicles that was, but there wasn't a lot of music playing on at home. Me, it's a different story. I love my music, and it's a part of me, but. I don't know if they were too cheap to buy vinyls or what it was.
Yeah. I'm interested. I've been asking this question lately of my guests. It's the deserted island question. You're stuck on a deserted island. Which 3 albums do you need?
Which 3 albums? Oh, Tragically Hip.
Yes.
Metallica.
Ooh, which one?
I don't know. Either do I go with Master Puppets or do I Enter Sandman?
Yeah. Can't go wrong with either, I guess.
And then I like what's over your right shoulder.
Oh, some Rage or Zepp.
Love Rage.
Rage.
They were supposed to be here. They were supposed to be here in Chicago 3 weeks ago.
Yeah, man. I mean, so many shows, so many tours just postponed. Like postponed for like a year
or 2.
That's optimistic.
Or 2 or 3 or 4. Like, who knows how long it's going to take? Nobody knows.
Well, they were tossing around the idea, Live Nation were tossing around the idea of like a drive-in. Like you go see Rage, but at a drive-in, and however that works, you get a board feed into your car and you can kind of mess with the volume for, I don't know how that would work, but what a weird way to see a show though. I don't know about that.
No, I don't know. Really, now, you talk about that, and you got the 4 major sports coming up here. Golf's got no fans. NASCAR's got no fans. You got NBA is coming up here, baseball. Are they going to be playing with fans? Are they not going to be playing with fans?
And what a weird way to play. Like as a pro athlete, like could you imagine play right? Like how weird is that? It's same for like, are you a fan of UFC? Like UFC fights, like not like nobody in the nobody. It's nobody, just 2 dudes fighting.
Yeah, I can do that in my living room. I don't
totally.
In Stanley Cup playoffs, you're going to be playoff with empty buildings. I'm not a big fan of it all. That's a business side of things that everybody doesn't understand. But I don't like anything about it.
It's an odd world for sure. What's your take on legalized marijuana? Came to Canada about a year and a half ago.
There's two. Obviously being part of addiction, and I've been sober for creeping up almost 4 years, of knock on wood. Obviously, medical marijuana is great. It can do some major benefits for for patients in pain, and used in the right way. The hard part is that kids think that it's okay to be smoking pot at a young age, and it's clinically proven that it's a gateway drug from 14 to 22 because the brain's still developing. So the developmental part,
So
as an alcoholic and guy who did a lot of drugs, and that part is a hard part to get across the kids when it's legal. It's not legal, but so. But for the medical side of things, from what I know and what people that use it, it's wonders.
Subscribe on iTunes at Toddcast Podcast.
Fuck your cool
The Toddcast podcast is powered by Milano Coffee, bringing you the finest espresso and coffee concepts in the world. Online at milanocoffee.ca.
A look at this week's keyboard warriors, Todd's Trolls, on the Toddcast podcast.
And in true fashion, the trolls were out in full force, as they always are. It doesn't matter what it is. No one and nothing is safe. Take the Goo Goo Dolls. Their song Iris is one of the biggest songs of the last 20 years. Number one on Billboard for 18 weeks. Spurred them on to sell more than 12 million albums worldwide. Goo Goo Dolls released their It's Christmas All Over album in a few days on October 30th.
More like poo-poo dolls, am I right? A Christmas album in October? Guys, come on, settle down. 1995 just called, and they still don't care about this band.
This one was just released to theaters this past weekend. Connected, an animated movie about a creative outsider named Katie, voiced by Abby Jacobson, who gets accepted into the film school of her dreams. Her dad, Rick, played by Danny McBride, gathers the family to drive her across the country for one last family hang before Katie goes off to school.
Saw the trailer. Should be good. I'm sure Danny McBride will find a way to screw it up, though. There's people starving in the streets, and they're making movies like this? Cool. Makes sense. Great. Yet another shitty movie I'll have to sit through with my kids.
And the Rugby League NRL Grand Final was just a couple of days ago, October 25th. It's a big one for the sport, held at the Sydney Cricket Ground in Australia.
Not to be a dick, but name one pro rugby player. See? You can't do it. Yeah, you can go ahead and postpone this indefinitely. Seriously, nobody but the players would care. Must be a slow sports week.
Todd's Trolls on the Toddcast podcast is powered by The Garage, Games and Geekery, your place to play RPGs, board games, and Warhammer in Maple Ridge. Online at garagegames.ca.
Tell me all your secrets, she said, showing up half cut at 3 a.m. I can't keep going through the motions, just every lie at the end. There's no sense in running around pretending like we're gonna stick it out. Oh, but it's still her that I crave. Oh, she begs me to stay a little bit longer. Oh, she begs me to stay a little bit longer. I can feel my wedded heart sinking down into my bones. Oh, she begs me stay. We keep tripping over ourselves, doing this and too many times. She's so caught up in addiction. Oh, tries to bring comfort to life. Oh. Oh, she begs me to stay a little bit longer. Oh, she begs me to stay a little bit longer. I can feel my wedded heart sinking down into my bones. Oh, she begs me, stay.
are certainly a jewel within Vancouver's music scene. The band is Winter Youth. The song is Half Cut, and their singer Emily is one of my favorite Vancouver voices. Just an incredible singer. Love her voice. Seen them a few times as well. Always amazing. If you get a chance to see them, do it. You heard a band called Folk Roadshow, and their song was called Fuck You're Cool. That's your, Y-O-U-R, cool, if you know how to use the your. If you recognize the voice, that's because it's Dom Frico, longtime podcast favorite. Did you catch him doing that acoustic Cheap Thrills night? Holy hell, he had the crowd in the palm of his hand from the get-go. I mean, literally getting them stomping, clapping along, a cappella first song, crazy good night. Dom's now living in Germany, unfortunately. So the chances of you seeing him live in Vancouver are very slim, unless, of course, you're traveling to Europe sometime soon. Although he came back to Vancouver from time to time. And the last time he was here was last Christmas. He played a show at Gilton Company. Speaking of live music, check the indie scene at toddhancock.ca. Vancouver's music scene is starting to slowly come alive. Live stream shows, smaller shows, the quiet decibels. Find them, or the ones that I find, or the ones that the bands tell me about, again, through toddhancock.ca. Brought to you by Mystic Rhythms Rehearsal Studios. 40 plus years experience in the music industry. Find them through mysticrhythms.ca. Okay, our final guest of this episode 230, this week's entertainment guest, author and blogger Abby Simpson. That is brought to you by Tomes. Can't sleep? Can't fall asleep? Can't stay asleep? Insomnia? Let them help. The first 7 nights are 100% free at tomes.com. That's TAUMMHOMS.com. TAUMMHOMS.com. Abby Simpson is a published author and blogger and a contributor to the Dean Blundell Network. That's actually how we found out about Abby. She's a great follow on social media, by the way. Find her at Abby the Tweet on Twitter. That's where she's most active. She worked in promotions in radio for about a decade. The writing bug right now has a hold of her. Her bio says #dumpster writer. You'll find sports, TV, food, culture, opinions in general on her feed on social media, which is one of the best things about Abby, sharing her opinion on her feed. With a great conversation, you can check it out right now through iTunes, Spotify, SoundCloud. Again, a search of Toddcast Podcast. Till you hear that, here's 10 minutes with author and blogger Abby Simpson.
The Toddcast Podcast.
How old were you when you got the writing bug? Like how did you kind of get into that?
6 years old when I started writing, really. Like, honestly, like I've been writing fiction all my life. I could remember being in grade 1, and every day in grade 1 we'd have to journal. It was really about us just like learning how to write letters and
right, form a sentence at that point.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So every day we would be doing these journals talking about anything we wanted, and I would write basically every single day was a new chapter in the life of my friends. So I was doing fan fiction for my friends from age 6, and so I've always enjoyed writing fiction, writing at all. And I just started in the last like year or so really decided that writing can be more than a hobby. And I've just kind of gone for it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And you must get this a lot from, the community. What do you do when you're struggling for ideas and you're kind of running into that like, I can't do it?
Honestly, it entirely, I think it depends on what is blocking you. Some people write really, really well when they're really low, I guess.
Yeah.
Some people can take darkness and pain and turn it into beautiful art. And for me, like 2020's been a bit of like just awful all around. Like I lost my dad earlier this year, and that was the biggest thing that was awful. It was just soul crushing.
We talked about that on the Blundell podcast, and
exactly. And so
I mean that's something that Abby, I didn't mention this when we were talking with Dean, but it's something that I can't identify with because both my parents are still alive. So like and I haven't lost a brother, or close friends or anything really, with the exception of like my grandparents. So it's really hard for someone to kind of wrap their head around just how much of a
I mean, and yeah, like my dad was my first like big loss like that for me. Obviously, yeah, I've lost all my grandparents, but you
Right.
expect that a little bit more on a different level. So for yeah, it's just been a whole ringer of emotions I've never really felt before. I just haven't been able to sort of find that creative spark at all. It's been really frustrating too, because sometimes I'll come up with an idea and I'll want to write it down, and I just couldn't do it. I had absolutely no energy, ability to like be creative. And when that is an outlet for you otherwise, it just sort of, it's really frustrating. It's really been hard, but I had an idea come to me the other day, and I sort of spent the weekend writing it, and I'm actually like, it's super early stages and it may come to nothing, but the fact that I'm actually writing again is making me really happy. So
yeah, something about getting out of that funk. Have you been finding you're watching still as much TV and movies and stuff as you did at the start of COVID? Are you still ramped up there?
Oh yeah, absolutely. Yeah. I mean,
it's hard not to be.
Yeah. Well, and I was before too. Like I was not, like I was definitely a Netflix person beforehand, if you will.
Yeah. Same.
Yeah. So that was not something that was like terribly impacted by the pandemic for me. I was just like, okay, so
right.
Well, I guess I have an excuse to just sit here and watch and binge something.
Yes, it's COVID. That's why.
Yes, exactly.
What are you watching right now? What are you binging?
What am I binging? Oh, so, well, I guess it's on Prime, but I was watching a couple historical dramas, and that's kind of sort of what has spurred my creativity again, I guess. And I don't know, because I don't usually write these things either. So it's, I don't really know who I am right now. But part of me has thought to myself, maybe, there's a part of me, because this is definitely the kind of book my dad would have been really into. So maybe that's part of it. I don't know, but this topic really interests me, and I'm like super into it, nerding out a bit right now. So those I've been watching. I just finished Away, the Hilary Swank in space one.
Yeah, that's on my list. How was that? I mean,
you know what, I liked it, but I like stuff like that. I like post-apocalyptic. It's not really post-apocalyptic, it's just future. But I kind of like that what if sci-fi future
right
kind of themes. And obviously it's about a shuttle that's going to Mars to see if they can actually grow food on Mars, because Earth is dying. And it's a little complicated, I guess, in terms of like, is it the upper echelons of that kind of genre? Probably not. Like it's kind of, did you ever watch The Man in the High Castle on Prime?
No.
So The Man in the High Castle, though, for me is similar, where it's this really high concept, in a way, story that is so interesting in itself, but the elements of the show, whether it's the chemistry of the actors or the simplicity, I guess, of the script, just doesn't really lend itself to that really big idea. It's not like, whereas Game of Thrones really had like that complicated story, but all of the elements of the series really matched it in a way, which helped it become so big.
Trippy. Isn't it funny? You're saying it's set in the future.
Mm-hmm. It has to be, because
it has to be.
Yeah, they're going to Mars.
Yeah,
so
but like,
it's not too far in the future, but it's kind of in the Handmaid's Tale, maybe 20 years.
Right, it's coming around. Let me switch gears here and hit into the music side of Abby Simpson. What's the music you're growing up to in the house? Like, what are your parents playing?
Okay, so, well, my dad worked in radio, so I do remember at like 5 years old, I knew who Queen and the Beatles were.
Nice.
And obviously I grew up on Sharon Lowe's and Bram and all that stuff too. You know, he would get promo tickets to when Sharon Lois and Bram came to town, and he would take us.
Nice.
Like celebrities. It's so fun. And my mom, I remember she had 3 CDs she listened to a lot that are kind of embedded in my memory, and that was Janet Jackson's Janet album, and Bonnie Raitt's Luck of the Draw, and Tears for Fears Greatest Hits. And I love them all to this day.
Great records. I mean, that at this point now, they must be, you know, it's almost like comfort music.
Oh, I love Tears for Fears too. Like,
so
they're
damn good.
So freaking. I mean, Bonnie Raitt's incredible, and that was definitely the height of Janet's career for sure. That Janet era. All the songs on that album are fantastic too. So
I didn't know that your dad worked in radio. Where did he work? What did he do?
He was music director at FM 96 in London for 15
London, Ontario.
years.
Okay.
Yeah, I grew up there. I was there till I was 20. And then I went to school in Ottawa for 2 years, and then I moved out to BC.
Wow. What made you move out this way?
I got a job at Rogers Radio in Vancouver, actually.
Yeah, there you go.
And I worked in promo. In radio for about a decade. So.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
And
yeah, surprise.
Yeah.
I'm on my second life as far as careers go, I guess, right? Maybe third.
Yeah. Oh, that's great. So obviously with your dad being a music director, like, it was big. Music's big in your house.
Absolutely. Yes.
Well, that's cool.
Definitely. And I mean, I had my teeny bopper phase, obviously. I was a teenage girl in the late 90s or early 2000s. So you can guess what my musical taste was like.
Oh, I bet you it was probably pretty good. What was your first concert?
The first concert I went to for myself, like, not because I would go to shows with I remember I helped introduce the Tragically Hip on stage when I was like 3. That was fun.
How awesome is that?
Yeah, because it was like really, like, what was it? It would have been 88. So they were just breaking, if you will. Like, it was like their early career, and they did a show at Harris Park in London, Ontario. And my dad was one of the music directors across the country who was like on their music right away. Right. And when they came and they did this show, I think it was a free show in Harris Park. My dad did the introduction from the stage, and he brought me out with him. So I got to run into the microphone. The Tragically Hip.
Oh, that's so rad.
Yeah.
What a cool memory.
Definitely.
Entertainment guests of the Toddcast podcast are powered by Tomes, where quality sleep matters. Find out more at tomes.com. That's TAUMMHOMS.com.
You're a feeling and you know, feeling and you know.
Absolutely love that one. Tanya Aganaba, and her song was Villain. That's taken from her performance at the Toddcast podcast Cheap Thrills 15. I think that was late last year, September, maybe December. What a night. Super comfortable on stage. She has a unique voice, a great storyteller, some really funny moments, and getting some really serious moments in there as well. She's not afraid to share her opinion, let's say. Easily one of my favorite local performers, one of my favorite people in the scene. Really looking forward to next week. These are fun to put together. You'll hear a Career Highlights podcast where 12 guests will share their stories. Former Pantera, Hell Yeah, Damage Plan drummer Vinnie Paul, rest in peace, Vinnie. He's not in next week's podcast, but check out what he had to say about Career Highlights.
I mean, there's several. Obviously, being in Hell Yeah, being a part of this, making what I think is the very best record we've ever made collectively as a band, undeniable. I feel really, really proud about that. Super cool to have the Phil Collins track, I Don't Care Anymore, on there with my brother's performance. For people to be able to hear him on the airwaves again in 2016 was just really big and really special. Having a number one album in 1994 with Pantera when the world was taken by surprise, and they were like, that overnight sensation. We're like, bullshit. We've been doing this for 7 years nonstop, all over the world, and the fans have spoken, man. We outsold Bonnie Raitt. We outsold Ace of Base. We outsold all those bands and had a number one record, man. So that was a huge highlight. And then playing in Moscow in 92 on the Monsters of Rock to 1 million people, probably never played to a crowd that big ever again, and playing with AC/DC and Metallica, that we just put out, or just about to put out Vulgar Display of Power. So the people that really didn't know us, didn't know anything about our music, and they treated us like Led Zeppelin, man. It was just one of the greatest days ever. So I'd say those are probably my 3 top highlights.
Again, on next week's podcast, you'll hear 12 guests talking about career highlights, so you can look forward to that. I wanted to give a big thanks to this week's guests, of course. I don't know how, but they found me, singer Dallon Weeks. Right on, man. Thank you again for taking the time to hang. Thank you so much for sharing the podcast as much as you do on social media. That's very cool. Dig your stuff, man. And say hi to Ryan for me, and I guess we'll talk soon. Retired NHL defenseman Brent Sopel, dude, same to you. Appreciate you sharing our chat as much as you have. And as I was saying when we were talking, I'm a huge Canucks fan. Truly an honor to talk, and thankful that you are as rad as you are. And author, blogger Abby Simpson, you are awesome. Can't wait to get everybody in the Blundell Network, the West Coast division, together for some drinks and appies, and no doubt we'll see each other sooner than later. Socially distanced, of course. And that's going to do it for this episode 230. My name is Todd Hancock. Thank you again for listening. If you like what you heard, please tell your friends about us. Subscribe on iTunes, Spotify, SoundCloud. You can also find the podcast at toddhancock.ca. As mentioned earlier, we're part of the Dean Blundell Network out of Toronto, deanblundell.com. And we're on the Boot Crew Media Network out of New Orleans as well at bootcrewmedia.com. Oh, and rate and comment on the podcast. That will help out with search results. Look us up. Again, Toddcast Podcast. Huge thanks to all of our wonderful sponsors. Find links to all sponsor websites at toddhancock.ca. If you'd like to sponsor the podcast, you can for as little as $10 a day. It's cheap. It's a couple cups of coffee. Contact info at the homepage. Maybe we'll talk soon and see what we can do together. Till next week, don't be an asshole. Nobody wants to be around that. Have fun, play hard, and most of all, believe in yourself.
The Toddcast Podcast. Keep in touch with Todd through Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram, and bookmark toddhancock.ca.
Do you ever watch a TV show set in a historical time period and think, how accurate is this really? But also, does it matter if it's accurate or not?
Nefertiti is a new podcast about shows set in ancient times. This season, we're recapping every episode of the show Spartacus: Blood and Sand.
I'm Ann Foster, and I have never seen this show before.
And I'm Gina Berry, and I have watched this show maybe too many times.
Join us every other Monday on the Nefer TV podcast as we discuss the real history behind Spartacus, Blood, and Sand.
Follow Nefer TV, that's Nefer TV, wherever you get your podcasts.
Oh, please, not that music. That music gives me nightmares from my childhood.
Could we get something a little bit lighter, some lighter music here?
Are you a fan of true crime TV shows?
And what about Unsolved Mysteries, the show that jump-started all of our love of true crime?
I'm Ellen Marsh.
And I'm Joey Taranto.
And we host I Think Not, a true crime comedy podcast covering some of the wildest stories from your favorite true crime campy TV shows all the way to Unsolved Mysteries.
Baby, you will laugh, you will cry, you'll think about true crime in a whole new way, and you'll also ask yourself, who gave these people mics?
New episodes of I Think Not are released every Wednesday with bonus episodes out every Thursday on Patreon.
And every Monday, you can listen to our True Crime Rundown, where we go over the top true crime headlines of the week.
So come and join us wherever you listen to your podcasts.
Goodbye, Kyle. Did the sound of those words call to you like Pavlov's dog? Then you might enjoy our podcast, Turtle Time.
Every week, you can join me, Riley Hamilton, and my co-host, Amy Scarlotta, as we cover the most pressing Bravo news and dig into the new episodes to answer important questions like, who the hell is Adrian Malouf in this world?
Listen to Turtle Time on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or wherever you get your podcasts. New episodes every Wednesday and Friday.